Hi, and welcome back to Inspired Alchemy with Lizzie. This is episode 69. Go ahead, laugh. I know you want to laugh. There's a couple things I want to cover in this today. Something that popped into my brain, and it's just a thought right now. And then something kind of weird that happened last night, and the energy that's been happening over the past couple of days. I guess I will start with the energy that's been happening over the last couple of days because that kind of led me into thinking about what I was thinking about today. So I dropped my car off at the shop on Friday. No, I'm sorry, on Saturday. There was some stuff going on with it. And I was like, okay, fine. And they were like, well, drop it off on Monday. I said, well, I can't really drop it off on Monday, but I can drop it off this weekend if that's possible. And they're like, yeah, sure, you can drop it off. Okay, whatever. So I drop off my car because I felt that's when I needed to drop it off. And everything happens the way that it is meant to, I guess. We just got to keep following those breadcrumbs. Anyways, I get a call this morning and they're like, oh, the car is done. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go and I pick up my car. And when they reset your computer, it resets everything back, right? And so I'm driving and all of a sudden I'm listening to my music and I'm like, it sounds very different. It's been a really weird couple of days. Like, really weird couple of days. Let me backtrack a little bit because I said I was going to go into the energy. The energy of the past couple of days has been very uncomfortable, and it has been, normally I can feel people's energy around me. Normally I'll feel pings, but I was only feeling it every once in a while from certain people, and then people that I normally feel all of the time felt very far away or non-existent. And I'm like, what is going on? Because normally I can feel into this and it's just second nature for me. And it started to make me feel very uncomfortable. And that started Saturday night. So dropped the car off Saturday. Saturday night, that started happening. Sunday, I woke up and I kept hearing, you have to go to the gym, but you're only going to work your core. Okay, I need to work my core. My core is non existent. So that's all I kept hearing. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to work my arms. And I kind of wanted it to be like a full body thing. Okay. So we go to the gym. So glad that I like going on Sunday mornings because there's like nobody there and it's quiet. So I'm stretching and then go to work the core. Okay, cool. I kept hearing for days, you're only going to work your core. And of course, me being me, I try to push past that. So I go to a machine that works your legs and your glutes, and I got through the sets that I wanted to do, 3 on each side. But then I had to stop. Like during it, I was like, okay, I can't do this. But I pushed through and I finished that one. And my body literally goes, you need to go sit down. Okay, cool. What's going on? So I go and I sit down and I start stretching and then I start feeling emotions come up. I'm like, oh no. Okay. A lot of what I hold is in my abdominal area and in my pelvis. That's where I hold a lot of different emotions, I guess, that kind of won't kind of break up. And I'm working on it. And so I was like, we have to go. I gotta get out of here. So we left, got to the car. I started crying. It's like, this is why I had to work my core. There was stuff stuck in there that I had to move. And my body knew ahead of time that that's what I needed to do. If I would have pushed, I probably would have broken down in the gym. Don't want to do that. No. That's not for me. Um so I'm crying. I spent on and off probably a couple of hours feeling very, very emotional. Went for a walk at the park, had some conversations that I needed to have. Lots of things came up. And so things calmed down a little bit. And then I just kind of felt off the rest of the day. And I wasn't the only one. I had spoken to a couple of other people that had the same kind of experience. And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is like a collective thing happening, but it's also happening on an individual level. So individual to collective to individual. We're all kind of moving around and doing things and, yeah, emitting frequency. So then I talked to a friend and he was telling me that he's like, okay, think of it this way. And he's very much into the science and quantum and all of that kind of stuff. And so he goes, okay, because I would say you feel very far away. Think of like a hallway that's stretching. You're way at one end and I'm way at the other, and it kind of looks like you're a speck. And he goes, well, if the universe is expanding and contracting as we all individually and collectively grow and evolve into whatever is happening on this planet, and for us as human beings, things are going to expand and they're going to contract, and then they're going to seem far away, but then they're going to be really close, and then they're going to seem far away and then they're going to be really close. I'm like, that makes so much sense as to what is happening right now. And even though I had that kind of thing happening in my brain, he kind of put it into words. So that was super interesting. And then lead into last night. And I had gone to bed early. My family had stayed up. And all of a sudden, I hear my daughter calling for her dad. She's like, Dad, something really weird is happening. It's like, okay. And it feels weird kind of sharing this, but I'm going to do it anyways. Nothing like this has ever happened in my house. You know, when electricity surges, all the lights will go off and then they will come back on. Where it's normal, you know, it's always happened in the house that I live in, stuff like that. And so I'm in bed and I hear them. And then all of a sudden I look out the door. I don't feel like I'm supposed to get up, which is really weird because I was like, mentally, my brain goes, you need to get up and see what's going on. And then physically, it's like, no, no, no. This feels really weird and uncomfortable, and you're not supposed to get up. As weird as that sounds, okay? I see strobing from inside my room because I live in a small house. So I could see all of the lights and they were strobing in different ways. And so talked to when I talked to them, they're like, yeah, like all of the lights and all of the different cabinets and all of the like the light in the kitchen, from the light in the oddities cabinet to the one where we have bookshelves to the one by the we have like a lamp that is by the couch. And so everything was strobing, but at its own rate. It wasn't like some were going faster, some were going slower. It was like when you would see like poltergeist activity happening. And I was like, I don't know. I don't friggin' know what's going on. And so that weirdness happened last night, and it wasn't an electrical thing. It wasn't, because as quickly as it started, it stopped. I woke up this morning, things still felt really weird. Things have been feeling weird for days, more than normal. And then I got the call, like I had said previously, that my car was ready. Okay, cool. Pick up my car, everything's good. I turn on the radio. I was like, oh, this sounds really interesting. And when you, like I said, when you reset things, it goes back to the word that was used was neutrality. Previously, I had been set on the way other people like to listen to the radio. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is very interesting. And so I start singing along to a song by Incubus called The Warmth. And as I'm singing and I'm listening, the frequency feels different in my body. It feels different when I'm singing. My vocal cords are doing something different than they normally do. And even though I could hear the sound in the background, his vocals were like they were right there with me. And so that led to me having this thought of, I've been listening, and we all have been listening to the frequency in which other people like to listen. And by that I mean not just music, but in general in life. We scroll and we see things and we're like, oh, maybe this will work for me, or maybe this will work for me, or this person likes this, so if I want to be like them, then I have to like it. And if this person dresses this way, then maybe I have to dress this way to feel like they do, when we don't really know how they feel in general. And we're just making assumptions, okay? So we are trying to replicate other people's frequencies to live our own lives and to hear things the way that we're hoping will change something for us. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. We all have our own frequency. And every time we try to play by somebody else's, we're not living in integrity, authenticity, and we're not being true to ourselves. And so it's no wonder that we can't hear our own voices. It's time to remove the masks. And it's time to listen to your intuition instead of everything that is being told to you. You can see so many things online, and with the use of AI, you don't know what's real anymore except for what you feel in your gut. And it's time to start emitting your own frequency. Stop trying to play by everybody else's. Stop trying to play by everybody else's rules. Because if you can't hear yourself, how are you going to live a life that you want to live authentically? How are you going to manifest the things that you want if you can't even speak in your own voice? And this really hit me. Yeah, it might have been a simple thing as my radio getting reset, but it set off this whole kind of thought process in my brain of, we're listening to everything else, whether it's fear, a lot of it's fear, everybody else's joy when they express it, and we're trying to figure out how to get from our fear to their joy, and we can't do it because we're trying to follow their map, their frequency, instead of our own. What works for one person is not going to work for another. Everybody has their own path. But what we can do is listen to the music, listen to the frequency, and then use that to expand our own. It's not about trying to copy somebody's frequency, because unless you have rights to it, when you go into like music, you're copywriting. It's not your own, right? This is not like, it's kind of, I'm going to go back to, if you guys are old like me, there was a whole thing with Vanilla Ice and Queen, where everybody said that he copied Queen's song. And he's like, no, I didn't. It sounds like this. And they were like, it sounded exactly the same, except for maybe one little brief thingy, right? But still, that's kind of what we're doing with our energy. If we can't try to figure out who we are, we can't live the life that we want. We can't stand in our power. And my lights just started flickering again. We can't stand in our power. And if we can't stand in our own power, then how do we expect to get the things that we want out of life? All of that to say, trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your intuition, take off the masks, and start living a life authentic to you, whatever that means. And who cares what people think? If you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, live the way you would like to live. If you want to go and pick berries, go and pick berries. If you want to live audaciously, I don't know why that's the word that came to mind, then do it. If you want to live what people would call extra, do it. If you want to be too much or you don't want to be too much, do it. Whatever feels right for you and your path. We can take inspiration from others, but we can't take everything that is theirs and expect to replicate it and create something of our own. It just doesn't work that way, because it's always going to be off by one little bit of millisecond or beat or whatever it is. Okay? Harmony. If you want to live a life that is authentic to you, you have to start standing in who you are, embodying and being proud of who you are. And yes, that little interesting music thing of my car getting reset is what led to this idea, I guess. So, yeah, that was just a very complicated way of saying it's time. It's time to decide who and what you want to be. And if people don't understand, that's not your responsibility for them to understand. It's your responsibility to live your life. It's time to take responsibility for that. And it's time to stand up. And it's time to empower yourself. And if that means having people around you that support you, love you, and help you become that more empowered version, or if you don't have those people yet, finding them, being brave enough to go, you know what, I'm ready to start finding my people. If that means, I don't know, whatever it means for you, listening to a new form of music or dancing or whatever it is that you want to do, it's time to start. Because we cannot embody who we are if we don't know that yet. And the only way is to take the little steps to get to who we are. And sometimes those steps feel really, really big. And I feel like this is a very convoluted way of saying step up and be true to yourself. So, yes, all of that. Really weird energy, really weird tech stuff happening all over the board. Lots of energy flying around, floating around in the ethers. A lot of fear, a lot of pain. But there's also a lot of hope and a lot of faith. And I choose to hold on to the hope and the faith. And I think that's all I have for you today. And as always, in a world that tells you that you're broken, that we're disconnected, that we're not enough, please know that you are not broken. We are not disconnected. We are not divided. And you are enough just as you are. Keep following that path. Keep finding your keys. Keep following what it is you feel is best for you. And if you're here, you're an alchemist. And I just want you to keep going. And I want you to know you're not alone. You're never alone. If you want more like-minded people, we do have the Inspired Alchemy Collective. I'm still working on the 5-day nervous system reset. I do believe it's going to come out in February. That's kind of when it feels right to come out, but I cannot promise that right now. And we are working on some other things in the background. So if you need support, please reach out to us. Again, you are not alone. I'm sending you so much love. And until next time, keep creating alchemy.